Hello, it's Alison here. Right, let me just check my volume. There we go. Oh gosh, my little stand nearly collapsed there. Right, hello, well, welcome. I have got my scarf on with my birds on, in celebration of seeing. I don't know whether you've seen my profile, but I posted a little picture there of the nest box with the baby bird, because baby birds have started to emerge out of the nest box, which is just wonderful to see. It's that cycle of life, isn't it? And in case you wonder why I just get so excited about things like that, it's the cycle of life, the rhythm of life, which is actually at the basis of our life here on Earth. And we ground ourselves on Earth so that we can live our lives in the cycle and the rhythm. And that involves tapping into the energies. Anyway, right, a little bit more in a moment. Just get the camera right and position. So I'm here in my back garden. I think it's actually now starting to rain. Gosh, the green will love the rain. It's so lush here at the moment, so lush. Think about where you're watching from. Think about what place on Earth, where you are, and that's the place that you are living your life in this moment, and that's also the place where you are feeling the energies of this moment. Oh, hi Fiona, thank you for watching. So where you are right now is the position on Earth, and that's where you have available to you the energies from above in order to move forwards. And those cycles and rhythms are so important when we actually start to think about how it is that we are living on this Earth. It is starting to rain. I knew it would. It's very green here. Very green. So those baby birds that I took photos of, they're this cycle, the life cycle. And that just demonstrates the cycle and the rhythm that we are in. And that's our basic building blocks. That's where we start really with learning so much more about the Earth and the stars and drawing it all together. So what a full moon weekend. I mean, it was the second eclipse in May. Well, the first one was April the 30th for the new moon. But those two eclipses, for the new moon and then this weekend on the full moon, they're a part of the story. And you know, I'm always saying we've got time, because we get time to process, time to consider, time to think. And I know there's certain things we have to do on certain days, you know, but as far as working with the energies go, we can take our time. And with the two eclipses that we've just had, for the new moon April the 30th and the full moon just gone, probably still feeling it. I am. It's a part of the story. And there's another chapter to be unveiled for that story, October, November, when we get another two eclipses. Again then it's the Scorpio Taurus. This time it's Taurus Scorpio. So take note of what's been going on around these days, nights, evenings, and how there's been maybe some tiny shifts or some small insights. Something that's come up which is quite interesting over the last few weeks really, in various discussions, is to remember that it might not always be a big, sort of loud hailer message from the universe. Sometimes they are, but usually they're those gentle little whispers. And it's listening to those gentle little whispers that we start to build up the story or the picture or whatever it is for ourselves. Because this is all about our self moving forwards. So by considering what was going on around the time of the full moon eclipse, and still probably, because big energy, so there's still rumbling, you might still be finding your sleep patterns are a little bit off, dreaming, not dreaming, dreaming unusually, all of those sorts of things. But just take a gentle note, because don't forget, these energies we have choices over, and that's the joy of astrology. That's the joy of watching the stars unfold their patterns of energy. We get to choose what we do with it. So let me know if you have any questions. I had a few questions to answer. Notes on the full moon eclipse. I've just been talking about that. So just kind of think about the last few days and just little things that have come to you. Make a note somewhere, because you may find by returning to them as we go through this year, you add to them like a rich, it's like a tapestry that's building up for us, for understanding ourselves and understanding where we're going. Cherie, Mr. Stark just joined. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, I've lost my comments. Thank you so much for being here. So think about this full moon weekend. Think about the fact that it's actually a part of this tapestry. It's a part of the story. And just be open to the wonder of it. Because there is a part of what's happened that is always going to remain mysterious, because it was Taurus Scorpio. And I remember saying last week, it's about the mind not always knowing what's real. As in, you know that when we're sleeping and we just sort of start to wake up, or the other way round, or we're in meditation or pondering, you know, and so it's that feeling of starting to bring something to the surface, but it's not quite there yet. And that's fine. Absolutely fine. Because we may not have the full story. So I hope that sort of makes sense, because it's been an unusual eclipse pattern. And we have got in October, November, the next chapter for it, which is very exciting. Very exciting. For me, some seeds started to grow. I'm quite excited to see how that progresses through this year. I was just going to say a little bit, because I've been asked, about what a full moon and a new moon, what they are. Because they don't sort of stand alone. You know, we don't just get a new moon in the sky and then it's a full moon. The new moon is when the sun and the moon are in the same place in the sky. And then as the moon separates, because the moon moves faster than the sun, as the moon separates, it grows in its energy, it grows in its light, and then we get this full moon when the moon is actually opposite the sun in the sky. So that's why it's Taurus Scorpio, because those two signs of the zodiac are opposite each other. And that's when the moon is at its most brilliant. You know, it's full. And then the moon starts to gradually diminish. We call it a waning energy. And it starts to lose its light gradually as it returns really back towards the sun again. And of course that's now what's happening, because the moon has now moved into Sagittarius, which actually is a fire sign, sort of really welcomes the moon energy for that great balance. But already the light will begin to diminish and the energy. And so how we use the energy changes. And it's more to do with nurturing and maybe a little bit of releasing, because it's actually quite a powerful time right now. Yes, actually, oh, ladies, if you're going to do any releasing of anything, these next few nights are quite good. Just a bit of a clue for you, an extra star clue, if you like. Because it is quite a good time for that. But so we're now in this waning moon energy, and things will start to draw back a bit, draw in a bit, relax a bit. You might find it becoming a little bit easier every evening, every night to sleep. And just be aware of this rhythm, this cycle. And it's that lunar rhythm and cycle, the moon, which echoes the bigger pattern that the sun makes in the solar cycle. So that's sort of the lunar cycle and where we're at right now. Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for thanking. That's wonderful. Thank you. Because we're in a very interesting pattern. We're in such new territory, these new frequencies that we've got access to, quite new, quite different. And we'll gradually learn about them as we explore them over the coming months and years. So, what else have we got going on? Lovely Sun Mercury conjunct in the sky, beautiful. So if you are doing any releasing over the next couple of nights, a good thing to do would actually be to do it in writing. That would be very good. There's a stellium happening right now. Mars, Neptune in Pisces, Jupiter, Chiron, Venus all in Aries, all sort of close enough to each other to be blending their energy. So it's still a very powerful or intense energetic time. And if you've got anything being affected by that stellium of planets, if you've got any aspects of your own chart, or if you're feeling that energy, which probably means you have got aspecting, be gentle with yourself, go easy. I really can't say that enough. I feel we live in such a fast-paced society, don't we? And we live in this culture of want to do it now, want to have it now, want to be this now. And actually, when we're really in that cycle, that rhythm, that pulse of our earth and the universe, it's about living through moments and not minutes and hours. And only you'll know what a moment is. So I would really recommend starting to tune into that moment energy, like our plants and the birds. Got my scarf on. If you've only just joined, I'm wearing a scarf with birds on it, because I'm just so pleased to have seen the baby birds emerge out of the nest box. It's the third year. Although they're different. They're blue tits this year. They were great tits last year. But it's just so magical knowing that all of that has happened. And it's the cycle of life, isn't it? And it's that rhythm and that pulse. So only be listening to jumping in the car now. Oh, well, thank you so much for listening. That's brilliant. Thank you. And yes, please don't do anything that takes your concentration away from driving. This will be in the group later, but thank you. What else have we got? Pluto retrograde. So at the moment we have Mercury retrograde and we have Pluto retrograde. Now, it's June when things start hotting up as far as retrograde energy is going, which is exciting, because it has retrograde energy is different energy, but it has such great use in such a different way. but back to today. So we have this Pluto retrograde energy and the moon in Sagittarius, and I was really working on the chart for today, and it's that feeling, I'm going to say, of the goddess rising. Really is, which is so magical. It kind of fits, doesn't it? And wherever you are in the world, even if you're in the more resting time on the other side of the world where I am, where we're in the growing time, it's still about an energy rising of wanting to be heard from the earth. Love it. Ask me questions, by the way. Don't forget to tag me if you ask them in the group. If you are watching on replay, and thank you if you are, remember to tag me and ask questions, because I love answering your questions, absolutely. So, what else did I want to talk about? Oh yes, that nutshell. Time. You see, when we position ourselves for viewing the universe and knowing our place here on planet Earth, we position ourselves by place. Hugely important, the where. Because that gives us our unique view of the universe. It gives us our unique feeling of the energy of the pulse of the earth for where we are. And when we're looking at a chart, a birth chart or a horary chart or a chart of the moment, we need to know the time and the date for accuracy of where the planets were at that moment, and also for just how the earth was turning at that moment, where the horizon, where the sun was in relation to the horizon, all of that. However, if we don't have a time available, oh gosh, can you hear the birds? It's because I'm talking about them. It's lovely, so magical. If we don't have the time, we can still cast a chart. Now, sometimes, well, quite a lot of times, I use a sunrise chart in all sorts of things, because for me, the sunrise has all of the potential of that day ahead. And so sometimes when I'm working with somebody's birth chart, I will do a sunrise chart as well, just to get a feeling for the magical possibilities for that person of the day ahead. There's also other things we can do to get close to a time of birth. There really are. And over the years, because I've been doing this such a lot of years now, I've even worked with people who didn't even know their day of birth. And there are things we can do to get a very, very good chart. The most accurate of all will be where we have got an accurate time, because that then gives us the absolute full picture. However, if we don't have a time, or even if we don't have a date, I actually had one person who didn't really know where they were born once, and that was quite an interesting one. That was. But there are ways around it, and there are ways of still getting a good individual personal astrology. And so, how is this useful to you, knowing all of this? Well, it's useful to you knowing all of this if you don't know your time of birth. But it's also useful for you knowing all of this by being more in the moment. So, for instance, over the full moon weekend, and I'm going to say weekend, we all know when it was exact because I've said it several times, but the energy of the moon continues to move, continues to grow, and now to begin to wane. And it's a cycle and it's a rhythm, and it doesn't stop still at the moment that it's an exact. You know, it carries on. And that's why I say, be open, be aware of what's going on over these nights, over these days. For me, the seed's growing, are a part of it. Seeing the baby bird come out and fly. I'd actually seen him the day before, him or her, the day before, sitting on, because there's a bird feeder quite close to their nest box, and I'd seen him there sort of fluffing his little feathery wings. It was so sweet. But that's a part of it. And that will be a part of what I ponder on as I go forward through these next few months towards October, November. But just be aware of the cycle that you're in and what might have occurred. And if you know your birth chart, you'll be able to start to apply it. The information I give you in the group and here, you'll be able to apply it to your birth chart. In the membership, the astrology membership, we go deeper, obviously, because we're able to. But you should get enough from these star clues to be able to apply it to your birth chart, and I'd love you to do that. I love giving the information so you can use it. So we've talked about the stellium that's happening right now and how you might be feeling quite an intense energy. If you are feeling it as an intense energy, then be very, very gentle. Very gentle. Be very, very gentle. We are in a waning moon. So the lunar energy will start to lessen as the light grows a little bit dimmer. However, there's a pulse. There's an energy. And I'd love you, if you are still watching, still listening, if you're watching on replay, however you're viewing it, I'd love you just to post one small insight or thought or odd thing, that came to you. Did you walk in a different direction? Did a piece of post land up on your doormat that you weren't expecting? Did something stop you in your tracks? Or was there some sort of like golden moment and you thought, oh wow, isn't nature beautiful? Because across the Taurus-Scorpio axis, and especially given Chiron is in Aries, and that's a part of this whole decade, significant decade, it's about nature, it's about our planet. It's raining. I love it, but it is raining. So I may have to go in before everything gets so soggy, and I've got my books here, because I always bring my books down. Ask me questions if you have any, please do. I can't actually see any questions at the moment. So brilliant. Ask them in the group. Ask them below this post. I will put this recording into the group, probably put it on YouTube too. As always, and thank you so much for being here, with so much love from Alison. Thank you for watching.